Danny Masterson has been found guilty of rape and sentenced. This isn't about a Hollywood actor raping women that he was in a relationship with. This is about a predator that only liked his interaction with significant others to be predatory in nature, where he had power, they had none. And it's also an institution that is supporting this. So if you're new here, please subscribe, click the notification bell, share it to all your social media. If it's your first time here, welcome. If you're returning, welcome home. So Danny Masterson's rape accusers open up during an emotional interview. And Leah is a former Scientologist, and she's kind of been going against the machine with that. There's a series, Scientology in the Aftermath, where she talks to Danny Masterson's victims about the offenses and emotional abuse. And both of them, or the ones that were on the show, they detailed how they realized the relationship wasn't normal because they would wake up, head hurt, they thought they had fallen, thought they had been poisoned, didn't know where they were, and Danny Masterson took advantage of them. And so one of the four women is currently suing Masterson and the Church of Scientology. In her 5-year romance with the guy, he just frequently assaulted her. Like, this was his thing. She was willing to give it to him willingly in consent, but he just wanted to drug her and rape her because that's just the way, in his sick mind, the way he wanted it. One of them went to church officials to share her experience. She received no sympathy, and the actions taken against Masterson were never taken. She says, quote, her job as his girlfriend was to give herself to him whenever he wanted. She was to lay there and take it. So people do engage in kind of like, there are couples that do engage in this type of behavior where they do kind of like fantasies with that. This is not that thing. What this is someone who's a predator who wants to take advantage of his victims. He wants his victims to be completely powerless. And even though they would consent to a lot of it, he doesn't want consent. It's almost like he wants a controlled environment for him to commit offenses against women. And it's very sick. There's a lot of people out there like it. It's very difficult to understand why someone would want intercourse to be unpleasant with someone who wants to consent, wants to be with them. But what it is that the predator knows that if they're in some type of relationship with the person, already manipulating them and controlling them, when he goes to commit offenses against her or them, it's going to be difficult for the victim to realize they are a victim because of the personal relationship they have with the abuser. The thought process is kind of the same when it comes to abuse, in that the person has to first understand that they are a victim in order to get away, get help, and all that. And a lot of times, people who are in domestic violence situations, they don't even realize they're in a domestic violence situation because they're in denial, they've been groomed. They believe that a domestic violence situation is supposed to be different than what they're in. If you're on the outside looking in and you know the victim, you almost have to convince them that they are a victim and convince them that what they're experiencing is wrong, and they have to accept it before they can even begin the steps to get help, get away, and be healed. And so Scientology has been a part of this. It's a machine, it's an institution. And when it comes to a lot of predatory circles and predatory systems, a lot of times an institution is supporting someone, especially if they're a star, they have money, and they're donating to the institution. Thankfully, though, after years of just fighting against the system, fighting against everything, Danny Masterson, who used to play Steven on that 70s show, has been found guilty. So with that being said, once he was found guilty, Ashton Kutcher and Mila Kunis, who were his co-stars on the 70s show, they actually were approached by Danny's family to write letters in support of him to go to the judge. We don't know why they would knowingly know this guy has been found guilty, write letters and leniency as far as sentencing, knowing that jeopardize their careers. I think what they were thinking is that the letters were not going to be made public, or that Danny has something on one or both of them as to what would make them risk their career, reputation, and livelihood to help out this guy who's already done. In the letters being made public, they've received some backlash, and they decided to record a video to kind of clean up the mess.
We are aware of the pain that has been caused by the character letters that we wrote on behalf of Danny Masterson.
We support victims. We have done this historically through our work and will continue to do so in the future.
A couple months ago, Danny's family reached out to us and they asked us to write character letters to represent the person that we knew for 25 years so that the judge could take that into full consideration relative to the sentencing.
The letters were not written to question the legitimacy of the judicial system or the validity of the jury's ruling.
They were intended for the judge to read and not to undermine the testimony of the victims or re-traumatize them in any way. We would never want to do that. And we're sorry if that has taken place.
Our heart goes out to every single person who's ever been a victim of sexual assault, sexual abuse, or rape. Our heart goes out to every single person who's ever been a victim of sexual assault, sexual abuse, or rape.
Did you see the way Mila was looking? She's irritated. And even Ashton, the way he was looking and sounding, that's exactly what they were trying to do, was they wanted the sentencing to be less. The whole point of victims being heard and getting justice is the sentencing. So if you write letters asking for leniency, you are undermining the victims and what they went through because this guy was found guilty. That 70s show, it took place from August 1998 to May 2006. That was during the time when Danny was victimizing his victims. I wouldn't be surprised if both of them knew about it, allegedly. I wouldn't be surprised if they thought it was a joke and that the women were doing it to themselves. The women agreed to it somehow because they were getting paid. A lot of these Hollywood types, they're involved in a lot of sick stuff. And the way that they think inside of their bubble, inside of their institutions, they're given narratives that these victims are getting paid, getting taken care of. What happened to them was messed up because it went too far, but this is a cash grab. They're clout chasing, blah, blah, blah. They're fed this information by their handlers and they believe it. That's basically what it is. Because if Mila and Ashton, if they really were supporting victims and they were against abusing women, offending women, and just trafficking in general, they would have not written the letters. They would have stayed out of it. They would have stayed out of it. Now, let's just say, for the sake of example, that they believe that they were helping out a friend. That's the other piece when it comes to predatory networks or just predatory circles or predators, period. The people who are usually helping them, the people who are passive, that could stop stuff, or enablers who want to keep it going and they're all about sweeping stuff under the rug and helping the person prey on people because they feel like the gifts that this person who's a predator gives the world is more important than stopping what they're doing or helping the victims get justice. A lot of times they just can't see their quote unquote friend or coworker in a negative light because they have bought into and believe the character. So the character of Stephen Hyde, he was anti-establishment. He was funny. He was the voice of reason. He had a sarcastic sense of humor. A lot of people liked the character of Stephen Hyde. However, that's a character. And when it comes to a character, sometimes the actor or actress will play a character on set, and they're also a character outside of work. A lot of people are characters like that. And then when you hear them being accused of stuff, the first thing you're thinking is, wow, there's no way that that person could be like that or could be like this. And it's because you believe the character, which a lot of us are guilty of. Where a lot of us will interact with someone all day, every day. We're given a character, and then when they're accused of stuff, it's difficult to believe the accusations, even in the face of evidence, because we have been conditioned to believe the character. There's also a lot of characters on social media, but I'm not going to go there. So I digress. So it's very horrible that they wrote these letters. And what was even more horrible is they're really apologizing the letters were made public, not for writing the letters. They never apologized for writing the letters and helping out their friend. And I wouldn't be, and so Danny was drugging and taking advantage of these women, even though they were in relationships with him. I wouldn't be surprised if it comes out in the future that a lot of people in Hollywood have done the same thing, both men and women. We've all heard about Bill Cosby. Well, guess what? That was a part of the culture back when Bill Cosby was doing that. And there's a lot of stuff that takes advantage of people who are fans, groupies, people who are new to the industry. That's a part of the culture. I wouldn't be surprised if Ashton and Mila have participated in stuff or know of stuff that's a part of the culture. So to me, the letters were not really defending their friend. It was defending the culture of a lot of stuff that we hear rumors about, that people who are higher up on the food chain try to cover up, and then when they can't cover it up, they'll sacrifice someone like Danny Masterson and have other people go to bat for them and get their hands dirty in hopes that it helps create damage control. And so that's what Ashton and Mila were doing, was creating damage control. And so he was sent. So Danny Masterson is serving 30 years to life in prison for graping two women. It happened between 2001 to 2003, and that was before that 70s show concluded, which was May 18, 2006. And they probably hung out with him outside of work. Because there's a rumor that one of Ashton's ex-girlfriends, who was unalived by a serial deleter, that there's rumors that Ashton was the one that really did that. And we're not going to go down that rabbit hole, but I do believe that for both of them to stick their necks out for the guy, and the last time they really worked with him was 2006, and this is 2023. There has to be something that Danny knows, and that's why they went to bat with those letters. And I wouldn't be surprised if they were going to give money for his appeal and try to save him on the back end, because a lot of these Hollywood elites, people who are part of the institution, people who have done stuff on camera behind closed doors and done stuff to people to gain their status and position, they will go to bat and protect each other, because it's like, you're being exposed for your dirt. I'm going to help you with that because I don't want you to put my dirt out there. It's very crazy. And so this is the letter. My name is Ashton Kutcher. I am an actor, investor, philanthropist, and most importantly, a father. I met Danny when I was 20 years old in 1998. He instantly became a friend, dedicated coworker, and role model to me. So this guy's a role model for Ashton. And he has remained as such for 25 years, a role model. Role model kind of insinuates this is not a peer, but someone who's above him. As a friend, Danny has been nothing but a positive influence on me. He's extraordinarily honest and intentional human being. Over a 25-year relationship, I don't ever recall him lying to me. He's taught me about being direct and confronting issues in life and relationships head on, resolving them and moving forward. Danny is a person that is consistently there for you when you need him. We've traveled around the world together, raised our daughters together, and shared countless family moments. Not only is he a good friend to me, I've witnessed him be a good friend to others and the kind of brother others would be lucky to have. So I'm not going to go on and read this because this is just a mess. And with the character letters, it's supposed to be taken into consideration as far as sentencing. But you have to understand that if you really want to save someone, the best way you can do it is when you see something or you've seen signs of issues, which I'm sure Ashton and Mila saw issues and signs of issues with Danny. The best way to save them is when you're seeing red flags, and instead of looking the other way or helping your friend cover it up, help victims seek justice. That's the best way that you can help out the person's character. Because I'm willing to believe that they knew about some of this stuff, allegedly, and they could have intervened and stopped it, but they didn't. They didn't. And the legal system had to be the one to stop it, and now both of them are out here looking crazy. They're out here looking crazy. So I know these days people want to cancel someone and then they quote unquote get canceled, but then they're back working and people support them because people have short attention spans. They will hear about a story and like, let's say 2023 and in 2024, they got a movie coming out and then people are like, you know, loving the person and the machine is pushing them and whatever project that they're working on. A lot of people end up forgetting, and those who try to revitalize the conversation as far as what they've done as far as wrongdoings, they get drowned out by the same machine that's pushing the actor or actress and the character, and a lot of stuff gets lost in the sauce. So the main thing is that the victims of Danny Masterson, they got justice. And hopefully anyone else that's suffering from something sees this and they decide to get justice, because it's not just enough to get rid of the predators. You also have to get rid of the enablers, the supporters, and the institution as well. That's the video. Let me know in the comment section your thoughts. Thumbs up the video, share to your social media, subscribe. See you in the next video. Thanks for watching.